Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing Machina Arcana. Now I've got a cold for a couple of days now and so my voice is even, it's a little worse than usual. Sorry for that. So we're going into the end game now and there is a special tile, this one here, and we see here a pile of bodies and a few cultists standing around here. 5 it seems. And yeah, so let's see what the introduction says. Disturb the ritual. The seemingly endless stairs eventually led us to an enormous chamber, but it was not this that caught our eye. No, it was not this room that haunts our nightmare, nor was it the macabre play acted out in front of us. At the north end of the chamber, the ritual was clearly in full force. A pile of butchered bodies formed the centerpiece of this gruesome tableau. Around the vile pyramid, several robed figures shook and chanted wildly, ululating their triumph and joy at a gargantuan chasm that stretched from the edge of their ceremony. There was never an ocean more abyssal or a black more impenetrable than that which lay before our eyes. I feared for my sanity as I fought to master both nausea and terror. The darkness seemed to grow by the second, feeding itself on every scream and shriek. Older than time, stronger than death, its name is madness. Okay, so it says here, enter the end game, and we can see here the art. And again, I've read a comment that these chapters all have great artwork, and I can totally agree. It is just so beautiful. So, and we see here the setup, and I've pretty much done that. So set aside 15 destroy tokens, these here. We can attack the ritual spaces, so basically these are the cultists shown here. And they have either 5 life points or 6 will, and in this case then 2 health points. So yeah, the goal is to destroy all of these tokens, and it's a defeat if there are no destroyed tokens, these here, available anymore. And we have to set aside during every horror phase a number of horror tokens equal to half the number of remaining ritual spaces rounded up. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And so at the moment we're unequipped. Now I kind of wish I would have equipped before I entered that endgame space. There was we would have saved ourselves some time here, but okay, there's nothing we can do about it right now. So yeah, let's start. Okay, so I think I want to start with this guy, and I'm going to move him 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and then I'm going to spend the last one to activate. Does that make sense? Yeah, so I spent 4 spaces, I'm down at 2, I'm going to spend another one to activate this space now. And that was great, because that gives me 3 additional stamina. Very, very good. And that is then enough to activate the workbench. So I got four actions or stamina left. Then I'm going to activate the workbench for another 3. And that allows me also to equip my items. So that's really good. Let's see what I want. Let's grab this one here. And, do I want a better weapon? I don't really need this artifact anymore, I think. I don't know, hard to tell. So maybe I'm gonna also choose another artifact. And yeah, I'm gonna go with these. I think that, let's see what we get. Okay. Telekinetic projector. Explorers trade which other explorers use their inventories. Teleport to any passable space on any map tile. That might be interesting. A music box. So we could restore 1 health. But it would cost that 1 essence, so we don't gain a lot from that. This is cute at the start, but right now I don't think it's that strong. And we have this here. So we could use that to attack. Let's attack 2, attack 3, target adjacent units. It's not bad, but yeah, that really isn't bad. But does it give us such a massive advantage? Hard to tell. I mean, this thing could bring us right back here, for example, and I could start immediately destroying these fuckers back there. And that could be pretty awesome. So I feel maybe I think I want to take this thing actually. And I also now have the chance to equip all my stuff, which is pretty good. Yeah. So, okay. That's what I'm gonna do. Not sure if these spaces are just darkness or if they are already a chasm. That's hard to tell. I think maybe this space here could be a chasm. No, here there is still something left. Maybe these 2 spaces are the chasm. Let's say these 2 spaces are. It's not quite clear, but I don't know. That one here is also, it's not quite clear, right? Is that chasm here, or is that a passable space? That is really, I mean, here it is really hard to say because, you know, there is definitely some kind of darkness or chasm here, but there's also still some floor. So I'm not sure if that, I think that might be still a passable space. I'm going to treat it as such, and maybe these 2 not. This is really hard to tell here. Yeah, but the more I think about it, you know, maybe not. That might be also already chasm. So I think the only way to get here is like this. This thing here is the rubble. So you cannot go here, but these spaces around here are free spaces, I think. So I'm going to treat these 3 spaces here as chasm. So now it's this guy here, and we're going to move him 2 spaces, activate this thing. So we're down to 3. And he heals. That's not bad either. And And then I guess I simply will equip all my weapons and my armor. So let's roll for the monsters. Okay, we're gonna have the first one. That is an elder thing. And it simply does an arcane attack against the explorers. It's an immobile monster. Let's see where it is. There we go. And I guess the closest spawn point is here. And the next one is, we have another monster. And that is a Urhak. Okay, now this guy isn't so bad. He either attacks the explorers or moves them 3 spaces toward their nearest spawn space. Okay, he doesn't seem so dangerous. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we can choose which spawn point we want this guy to be. Not quite sure. Does it matter? So I might, yeah, it does, because it depends on where the next guy might show up. So, I don't know, maybe I'm going to place him here. If I want to teleport with one guy here, it might be a good idea to have this blocked. So let's roll for the horror. And lucky, we're no horror here. Very good. So let's activate the elder thing. And it simply will spend its only stamina to attack the explorers. And yeah, that is clearly a hit. So we take a damage, and this guy is nearly dead. That's not good at all. Okay, that isn't great. I have to get rid of this elder thing, I guess. Oh, and we have to remove 3 of these, because there are still 5 of these cultists left. So half of them rounded up have to be removed from here. So let's see. I think I'm going to use this teleporter here to get back there. That brings me in a better situation, I think. And then I'm going to attack the elder thing. We got to get rid of this. This is really dangerous. So let's see. We need 5. Okay, that is enough, and I'm going to do the other attack also on the elder thing. That's also enough. So we managed to destroy that guy. And when the monster is destroyed, the monster arcane attacks 3 explorers. Now I think I gain 1 essence after destroying that monster, and then the attack comes. At least that's what I hope. So let's see. Okay, that sucks. That's the worst possible result. So that means we take another damage, and that nearly killed us, I think. Or maybe not. Let's see. 1, 2. I mean, this guy definitely... He has only 5 will, but he might survive that. He is at 2, 4... Yeah, he doesn't take a damage here. So that was a really bad start. Okay, and then it's this guy, and we move 1, 2, 3, and then we get a shot, and I would say we start shooting this guy here with our bow. So yeah, that's good enough. So he takes a damage, but sadly only 1, and then we can move in here because the bow allows us to... No, that's actually not true. Only if we kill we can move 2 spaces. Okay, so we got to stay here for now. And this is already it. You know what? I forgot to activate the hack. Should have done that. Okay, that's a 9. So the guy also attacks the explorers. I don't think he even can do us damage. No, he doesn't. Very good. So we go into the new spawn phase. And that is a 5. So that is no new monster coming up this time. But now we get one. Okay. And that is a deacon. Now, that's not great either. Reduce the explorer's will by 2 and increase the explorer's horror rolls by 2. The guy is ethereal, so we cannot attack it. Really bad. And it will also show up here. That makes us vulnerable to the hack now. So it is now very possible that this guy will die, because our will went down. Then we got to remove again 3 of these, and yeah, it doesn't look good. I think we're going to lose that. Okay, so we roll again for a horror event, and we have one. So it says depressing fog. What? That's a little odd. What does that mean? Nowhere is safe. We are forever trying to outwit the dangerous traps and pitfalls that prey upon us in every passage and room. Here is yet another machination, filing our minds with the knowledge of how futile the mission is. Is the loneliness of this place not torture enough? These useless, visionless moments are harder yet to bear. Explorers can't restore essence this turn. Not good. But also, I don't know, it probably doesn't really matter at that point. So there is not, I don't see a way to gain essence here. Okay, then we will see the attack from the hack. And that's a 3, so we're still good. The guy still lives, but only, does he? Barely. Let's see, this is a 2. These are 2 will. Is it even will? No, it's not. Ah, that's interesting. Oh, it's not will. Okay, that's better. So we're no problem at all. And we have to roll first. Ah, I forgot that. I'm sorry. So that's a 3. So that means he will actually pull us toward the next spawn space. So it's 1, 2, or maybe even just 1, because we're going to go closer to the nearest space. And here, we're going to go back here, I guess. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Move 3 spaces toward the nearest spawn space. Okay. So that wasn't too bad. So now it's us again, and we can now start doing more attacks. So I think I'm gonna try to destroy this thing here. Or maybe even this one. I have line of sight. So yeah, let's try to destroy this guy down here. Let's see that we can do this. I hope I survive with him, but we'll see. It's gonna be a little hard. Okay, that's a hit. And that is also a hit. So this thing is destroyed. Really good. And then we're gonna have to destroy. We're gonna have a. Yeah. Oh, I see. I don't have. I kind of lose a shot here, which kind of. Oh no, because I can move with the bow, I guess. So I'm gonna shoot here. 3. Is that good enough? Hard to tell. Oh no, that was actually the wrong dice. I can use these 4. Okay, that is enough. And so I destroyed that thing. Very good. And now I can move 2 spaces. So I guess I want to move here. And then I'm going to shoot at this guy with my second action. And I was successful here too. So he also take a wound. And now it looks actually better than I thought. Maybe because the monsters are not that bad here. Okay, so let's see what comes up next. We got to go to the next spawn phase, and that is no monster. Very good. So if we're super lucky and we don't get a monster this time, I think we win. Let's see. That is a 5, so we do actually get a monster. And that is a Tindlosey Hound. Yeah, he's not good. He's pretty damn dangerous, actually. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how bad that is. So there he goes. The problem is the guy is also ethereal, so we cannot attack it. And I'm pretty sure that eventually he probably will kill him. But that might not be such an issue. If we can kill this guy or destroy this guy, then if he dies, it's maybe not such a big deal. We just have to then do 3 damage here and then it's over. So I think I'd probably be fine. Okay, we gotta go for the horror roll. And yeah, we take a horror event, no big surprise here. So this goes up, and we're nearly at monster level 4. And that says, distracting blare. Oh, listen, such dulcet tones. We felt the power of a screen and blissful tune as it took shape and transformed into the sweetest of melodies, surpassing all earthly delights. We stood transfixed by it, eyes half closed, swearing to the magical rhythm. But we were left yearning for more as the music came to an abrupt end. Our euphoria dissipated instantly when a deafening blare shook us to the bone. Explorers unequip 1 item. Okay, that's not good. But maybe it's not that terrible. We can give away... that will be a will. Interesting. Which one do I want to give away? You know, I think I'm gonna give away this thing here. I'm probably gonna die anyway. This one says, instead, the target explorer losing last health, teleport that explorer on the map tile edge. Now the interesting thing is that there are not really map tile edges on this one except the entrance here, I guess. So I think it does not really help me anymore if I could use that thing. He would be pretty much out of the game anyway. And it costs me 1 stamina to activate that thing for this turn. So I don't really think I want to do that. So I'm going to get rid of this. And the other guy... Look at that, I still got this thing here. Tja. Interesting. I mean, I also could use this. That is kind of cute too. That would help me to control the monsters for 1 turn. I'm not sure. Or do I want to get rid of this? But that gives me a will of 2, which is really powerful. But do I need that? Tough choice. Okay, so one thing, actually, I cannot unequip this thing because this is just a consumable and it is not equipped. So I have to equip something else. I'm going to throw away or unequip. I even don't have to discard it. I simply unequip it. So I place it here. And here, I don't know. The problem is I probably have to get rid of this. It sucks. I think I cannot unequip an augment or an upgrade. I think that would count as a complete item. So I don't want to give away that stuff. Okay, and then we activate the monsters. So the Urhak rolls a die and he attacks. And that is no danger at all. The Deacon does nothing. And now the Hound of Tinderless, and he is not great. He wants to come close to us. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he moves here, and then he does not have any option to attack left. But next turn he will, and then he probably will kill this guy here. That's pretty sure. Okay, so it's our turn again, and let's hope this doesn't go completely wrong now. So I think, first of all, or basically all I want to do is I want to kill this guy. And I think I will be pretty much successful here no matter what. That is a 3, that's not good, but I can add 1 and then 2 more for the upgrades. So the first one was a hit, and the second one also. So we managed to destroy him, and that also is basically a death sentence for him because now he will get killed by the Hound. And now this guy can shoot at this thing. And that is also a hit, so this is destroyed too. And that allows me to move 2 spaces. So I think I'm gonna go here and get myself... Is that a good idea? I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I just want to be in line of sight, so let me sure I can get this done. Yeah, I mean, I could also simply stay here. Does that give me an advantage? No, I don't think it does. So we're gonna move here. Okay, cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if things don't go terribly wrong, we should now win this thing in the next turn. So let's see what happens. Well, first of all, we got to roll again for spawning. And yeah, we do have another monster. The spawn of Atlach Nacha. And yeah, when the monster hits, the blocker unequips 1 weapon. That is not good at all. But it probably will not affect us right in this turn. I'm pretty sure about that. So it also starts down here. Then we got to roll again, but okay, there is no effect. And then we got to roll for horror, and now we probably will enter the 4th monster level. No, we don't. That's only a 2. But the Deacon brings us to, it adds 2 to the horror roll. So yes, we go up. We will have to shuffle in the monsters of level 4, but I don't think that will have an effect anymore on the game. It depends now all on this event. If this is super ugly, yeah, we're fucked, but we'll see. The caustic fog. So many steps and so many failed attempts. We are exhausted and our feet drag behind us, willing us to lie down and rest a little. But we must go on, we must. But why? Every movement feels absurd, serving only to waste time. Why are we struggling? Is there any point to this charade? Yeah, that's something that fucks us up. The explorers have to reduce the maximum stamina by 1. Okay, that is a problem. Because that means we can't destroy that thing next turn. Or maybe we can. We could use the puncturing revolver. That's an interesting option. Maybe we still can do it. So we'll see. But that is a bad start. We need a 5 though. Yeah, there might be a chance that we can do it. Okay, we have to remove one of these, so that should no longer be an issue now. And then we got to activate the monsters. Oh, actually, this guy could also be a problem. So it's not quite over yet. The Urhak rolls, and let's hope that he attacks. And he doesn't. He pulls us back. Now that's not good. So he stays basically where he is because he is already next to the space. I'm going to have to go back 3 spaces. So I got to go back here. And but you know, actually I'm still in line of... Am I? No, I'm no longer in line of sight of this guy. So I cannot finish him off this turn. That sucks. Yeah, that's a problem now. That really is a problem. But okay. And then it's the Hound, and he attacks now. He does an arcane attack against this poor guy, and he's gonna die now. Oh, look at that. That's a 3. So no, because of the deacon, yeah, he's dead. That's a 2. No way, he's dead. And now, because we were pulled back, this guy is also in a ton of trouble. So he moves closer, and he has another attack. And I think we also will take damage here. Yeah, okay. So that is bad, and I think we might not make it. It's going to be very hard to actually make it, but there is still some chance left. You know, I think we can do it. Oh boy, it's so hard. So let's see, we go into the next turn. So all I'm going to do during this turn is I'm going to lose my hypnotic bomb. No, I cannot use that because I only have 5 left. So this event is a disaster for me, and it was only this event basically. Yeah, that's it. That seems to be the end. I don't know what to do. I can only try to maybe attack the Haunt, but he's ethereal, so I cannot even do that. Okay, so the only thing I can do is I can equip this thing again, and so that gives me at least a couple of additional will. Maybe if I'm super lucky, I can survive the attack of these guys. But apart from that, I can only, or I try to run, but yeah, I could run. Maybe that makes the most sense. Yeah, maybe that's even better if I'm running, trying to avoid this guy somehow. But Yeah, maybe I can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go here, 1, 2, he still has 1 attack. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't go there. Oh, what a disaster. What a terrible disaster it is. You know what I can do? I can gain essence. I'm going to move 1, 2, and then I'm going to activate this thing. I can do it because of this Daedalian clasp, and that allows me to draw one of these, and that gives me an essence. And it says, clean slate. How curious and unsettling. I have never felt anything like it before. Like a sudden, swift deluge, our minds and surroundings seem to have readjusted somehow. Perhaps it is a blessing, but we think not, for we cannot be sure of what was lost in the process. On the new round, remove horror markers from the cards in play. That is totally pointless to us, sadly. But okay, at least we managed to gain an essence. And then we have 1 additional... But it might not be enough anyway. Yeah, I think I'm dead. I'm gonna move back here, I guess. I think, yeah, I think I will live for that turn. So I think it's okay. Okay. So we don't have to roll for spot. Well, we have to roll, actually. That's a 0. So this thing goes up. I think now only a single explorer has to roll. It says the number of explorers in the game. So I think I don't have to roll a second time, but I'm not totally sure about that. But I'm going to leave it here. And then we got to roll for the horror event, and we see another one. And that is the revitalizing poison. Watch in the dark as they rest. Their vigor returns like a bird to nest. Their vigor restored, their guard is down. Pounce on them now, with a flash as a gown. When any explorer restores essence, arcane attack 3 explorers. Okay, that's not good. But it also won't have much of an impact, I guess, because I don't really think we will restore essence. So let's see what happens. If this guy, well, we'll see. So let's roll a die for the Urhak. That is a 7, so it attacks. And that should be no problem. And it isn't. And then it's the Hound again. So the Hound moves 1, 2 spaces, and then attacks an arcane attack, and that's a 4. So that costs me an essence. And then it's the Spawn, and the Spawn moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces right there. Okay, great. So let's see what we can do now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm gonna... Oh, we gotta remove another one of these tokens. Now I finally can use that stupid bomb. The hypnoxic bomb. That costs me all of it, basically. All of my actions. But I can now control the monsters for 1 turn. Okay, cool. So let's do that. And So basically I'm done, and we gotta roll again for spawning. And that doesn't spawn a monster, or it doesn't move on the track up here. We gotta roll for a horror event, and we have another one, of course. Bird. Let me out, let me out. The walls, they're closing in. It's all caving in around me. And so on. When your explorer closes the door, invoke a horror event. Okay, I'm not gonna do that either. So I'm getting a little bit tired of all these events, you know, because if you draw them constantly, you don't want to read all the time the text. At some point it just, you want to come to an end here. It becomes a little bit fatiguing at that point. You know, one way or the other, it drags on now quite a bit. Let's be honest here. So let's see, now these guys will move. Okay, great. Now, what I am allowed to do is I can move them into pits. And I will do that. I'm gonna move this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. So he disappears. And I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, the spawn also in here. So these two fuckers are dead. And the others don't do anything. So now at least there are no more monsters on the board. That's a good thing. Okay, we go into the next turn, and oh boy. So I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3 spaces, I guess. I wasn't quite, yeah, now, you know what? If I move only 1 space, let's move 3 spaces. And now we can do an attack. And we did it, so the guy takes a wound, but guess what? It's not over yet. Gonna roll again for spawning, and oh, that's actually kind of interesting. I would gain, no, I don't get any essence, I think. Although I'm not sure, I controlled the monsters. Would that have given me essence? I got no clue, but I don't think so. So that means now the level 3 monsters are removed from the game. So these two go away. And I actually have to shuffle in the level 4 monsters. So let's see, we roll for the spawning, and the first one was a 2. So nope. The second one was a 4. Okay, so we're gonna see one monster coming in, and that is a duel. Oh my goodness. When the monster hits, the blocker can't move. Oh boy, I think it's definitely good. We have values of 8 armor, 6 will, 3 wounds. Yeah, I mean, these guys really become tough. So I think it's a good idea to finish this game now. And then we gotta roll again for a horror event. And look at that. It's a 1, so no horror event. Really cool, because that means we can now, we're not quite there yet. We gotta activate these guys first. The Urhak rolls again. That is a 5, so he draws us again 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, back there. The Deacon does nothing. The Ghoul will move 5, the duel moves 5 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it luckily has not enough stamina left for an attack. So now it's us, and I mean, I don't know, there might be a way how we can still fuck this up, but I don't hope that's gonna be the case. So 1, 2. Okay, now that brings us in line of sight, and then we can finally shoot our bow, and let's hope for the best here. That is a 4. Lucky for us, it increases the weapon's attack roll by 1. That brings it to a 5, and that is exactly enough. That's exactly what we need to destroy that last cultist, and boy, we managed to win that scenario. Oof. That was pretty harsh. So let's read the final chapter. Silence. The death gurgle of the final cultists resounded in our ears hauntingly and brought forth another quake which shook the ground with renewed vigor, and then silence. We dared hardly breathe as we stood there as mute as the mountain itself. At last we turned our backs on that room, now devoid of life, and yearned for the clean air and dazzling snow outside. We wished for purification, but the horrors, still so vivid, gave us no respite. Like some dreadful after-image, they had become a permanent part of our vision, unable to be blinked away. We did not speak to one another. There were no feelings of greatness, discovery, or even relief. We wandered through the corridors empty-eyed and trance-like. We were expressionless figures, moving step by slow step, trying to arrive at an undefined destination. The end. Yeah. And that's it, I guess. We managed to do it, and it was super close. It was really extremely close. I don't know if we would have survived even one more turn. Probably not. So, yeah, tough. I mean, that was really tough. I think I made a mistake that I probably waited for too long during the middle of the game. I should have pushed a little more, maybe take a few more risks, spend from time to time a life point instead of an essence. I could have done that because kind of in the middle of the story I healed fully. So there maybe I could have saved a couple of turns or something. And maybe I could have avoided, I mean, I could have not have avoided the level 3 monsters, but maybe they would have come a little later, which might have made my life a little easier. It's hard to tell though. I don't really know. I mean, in the end, I've won, but it was super close, definitely. Okay, just let's talk a little bit about this. And honestly, I'm not sure what to think about it. I'm a little bit... On the one hand, I can already say that I really enjoy the game a lot, or I enjoyed it a lot. But, you know, this playthrough was a little bit mixed. But I think the situation was simply that I did it on camera, and I also did it over the course of nearly 2 weeks. And, you know, that really gets you out of the experience. This thing is something I think you should play. It's a thematic experience, and you know, you're supposed to play it for a couple of hours and then you're done, and not, you know, this is not a war game or I don't know. This is not a game made so that you can step back from it and then come back for. I mean, you can do it, but it doesn't really work that way. Okay. Anyway, let's see what we can say about it. Components, fabulous. I mean, this is possibly one of the games with the best components that I've had, you know. I mean, especially this stuff here for the explorers. Very beautiful designed, practical, it works fine. That stuff here too. The cards are thick, really good quality. The design of the components is also excellent. Custom dice. The quality of the dice a little bit small, but in general the design is really great. The artwork of these things, I mean, it's just amazing. Especially these chapter cards wow, I mean, look at that. They just look so good. And yeah, that is just great. Also the items, kind of your steampunk standard design, but yeah, really good. The tiles, you could argue they all kind of look the same a bit, and it's probably true. You could also say, yeah, they have a very consistent style, and I tend to go more into this direction. Some of them stand out a little bit, like for example this one. You know, if you take a closer look here, this all looks pretty organic, and you know, it's a little different. And I think that's a fine decision. It makes sense, you know, you're into this large building or whatever it is, and so it makes sense that the rooms look pretty much the same, but still some of them are a little special. So I think it's a really cool design also of the rooms, and it's also very clear. At the start it's all pretty busy, but you know, if you look a little more, it becomes very clear, and it's not too confusing or something. I think they've done that very, very well. The rules are a piece of shit. I mean, they are really the worst. It's incredible how bad these rules are. Yeah, okay, fuck it. I mean, that's not even worth discussing. This thing is very, very helpful. I ended up basically just giving up on the rules at some point, and I decided, okay, I just have to start to play this, right? And this is very good. You have pretty much everything in here, the goal of the game, and then it guides you through the different phases and all. And this is very, very well done. So if you have that, usually you don't need the rules, especially because it's pretty much impossible to find anything in there. So even for reference, the rules are ridiculous. The only thing which I made wrong, and that is something you have to be aware of, just want to point that out. You got here the horror phase, and I thought the way this is done, this layout here, first you got to do this, and then you got to do that, right? I mean, that for me, that was just okay. That's how it works. You work yourself through the horror phase. You follow this step and then this step. Well, that is not true. Basically, you only follow this step here, and then this is a sub-step of this. So here it says reset the current horror rating, increase the monster threat by 1. And this is what you do when you increase the monster threat. It's not that you, in addition to this here, you have to increase the monster threat a second time, because that's what I did during my first playthrough. I basically increased the monster threat every horror phase, and then if I rolled this here, I increased it a second time, and that is obviously wrong. But apart from, yeah, this is it. This is what you need, and the rules are horrible, really shockingly bad. Just to give you one example, just, you know, there are a couple of things like that, but this is really, and the game is, you know, a lot of the game is about fighting. I think we can see that pretty clear. And there is no combat section in the game, in the rules. They don't have that. What they have is, if you go here to unit effects, they show you here how you attack, okay? But there is nothing about line of sight or ranged and melee combat and all that stuff. At least I I don't know, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's not here. No, it's not. No, because that is somewhere in a completely different page. It's back here, right? This is about targeting, line of sight, adjacent, and then you have over here melee targeting and range targeting and all. So, you know, this is totally, it's just somewhere, yeah, and back here you have your first part. And this is just one example, you know, it's just total confusion, and there are so many things in these rules that are so hard to find. It's very, very weird how they actually, yeah, whatever. Okay, I don't want to go into too much detail about that. If you want to try it with the rules, you probably find out, but I can definitely explore that player 8 here, which pretty much contains all the information you need. Another decision that I find pretty terrible is I think they overused symbols in this game. I don't think, you know, sometimes it makes sense. For example, here, I get that they talk about the different dice in that way, you know, and you attack with 2 black dice and with 3 white dice. Okay, I can understand that, but for example, this here is, I don't know, I mean, this is not really intuitive, right? Okay, you gotta spend 2 action, and then you are ethereal, which is another keyword that you have to know. And for 1 round, and then you got to roll a 10-sided die, and on a 6+, you got to discard this card. I mean, in general, I do not see why you don't simply write that down on this card. There's a lot of space here. There's a lot of room. And I think they could really do that, but instead they come up with all these weird symbols. And for example, here, if you take this symbol, that indicates for 1 round. Now the same thing, this symbol here, the funny thing is that also indicates for 1 round, although there is a 2 in the center. Well, the reason is the 2 in here doesn't indicate how long the effect lasts, but how many times you can stack the effect. You know, I mean, I don't know. For me, it doesn't make things easier. I find that all pretty confusing. The design of this stuff here too, I don't know. I mean, this symbol is very weird. It looks like there should be a connection to something which might be placed underneath that card or so. And at the beginning I didn't even get that this indicates additional armor. So, and this is additional will. I thought this has to be connected with something. I found that, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the design of these things is, I love the artistic decisions they made, but many of the other design choices they did are very questionable in my and yeah, they don't work well with my brain. Maybe with some people it works well, but for me it really doesn't. Overall, gameplay wise, it's cool. It really is. There are many great ideas. Maybe not that many, but the ones they made are really good, you know. Basically, you can say there are 2 main concepts that the whole game is about. And the first one is a massive interaction with the tiles. you really have to use the environment to your advantage. You have to use the tiles, these action spaces, to get essence, and you gotta use all the walls and the pits and all that. It's important. You have line of sight, you got obstacles, all that plays a key role here. You got things like these traps that you can use. You got the exploding barrels, and there's really a lot of interaction with the boards. And I think that is just very, very cool, and I enjoy that a ton. There is a lot of planning involved, and it's excellent. And the other idea is the way the items work, obviously. These different options to combine them, also just it works well. It's a very cool system, a very good idea. Also, that you have that when you get an item, you always draw two, keep one, except for the workbench where it's a little different, but otherwise you draw two, you keep one, and you can choose the other to put on the top or on the bottom. And again, this is just a great idea. It allows you to go through the deck faster and make some interesting decisions. And the fact that during the campaign stronger items come into play is also just a great idea. Together with the stronger monsters that come into play, you have this. This is a common issue. How do you solve that problem that you don't have to face monsters that are too strong, and that you don't get items that are too powerful, so that the whole game balance doesn't break? And they have done that in a clever way by bringing stronger and stronger monsters into play, but also by adding more interesting items. And in this way, you feel that you get the feeling that your heroes get stronger and stronger, but also the enemies, and that's what we all like, right? However, sometimes that does not work that great. I've seen it happen that I had a very, very bad start and got killed very early in the game. But I also seen it happen that I ended up with a pretty strong weapon pretty early in the game, and I was just lucky drawing the right stuff with the right combinations for my special abilities, for example. And then I just killed the monsters like crazy, and they were absolutely no match for me. So I don't know, maybe that was a coincidence or so. I mean, this time it was balanced quite well, we can say. I mean, it all came basically down to the last action, right? So you could say it was a perfect balance here. But I've seen already different things. But if you're willing to, you could accept that. You could say, okay, it's a little bit. Usually games where you can do a lot of planning, like here, they don't come with a lot of luck. So this is something you might have to be ready for, that this game, even though you have the illusion of a lot of control with all your planning, things can go seriously wrong. For example, I was in a position that I stood near of a pit like this or something, but I had everything under control. There was no monster, and I had my full life points and all. And then there came a card which showed that the monsters will push me when they attack me. In general, that is no problem if there is no monster on the map, but in the same turn, a monster appeared which can move the instant it appears for 2 spaces. So it was immediately there, and I couldn't react in any way, and it pushed me into the pit, and the character was gone. You know, it was a totally healthy, perfect character, and I just have drawn the wrong combination. I couldn't prepare for that, and I was just dead. Okay, I mean, these things, I guess they can happen in this game. And, you know, at first I was pretty pissed about that, but once you accept it, it can be, in a way, pretty funny. And then you say, okay, fuck it, I'm going to start again. And it's not the end of the world. And yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, if it is, if you're so frustrated, then you can just ignore it and play on and say, okay, who cares, we can cheat here, that was just not fair or something. Or you say, okay, everybody gets 1 mulligan or something for these super unexpected cases that can happen like this. In general, speaking of influence, you can do a lot. You can interact with the monsters or other characters in many, many ways. You can interact with your environment in many ways. So that is very, very cool, and I absolutely love that. However, I wish you also had the option to somehow influence the events. I would love to have tests for your events, or at least some choices to make. Things like you can spend an essence, or you have to take the consequence for that, or you can take a wound, or do this. You know, it can be pretty frustrating if you're planning ahead and then you draw something and it just fucks you up. And there is no way you can in any way influence that. That is not cool. And I wish they would have changed that. And also, you know, things like tests, some ability tests or something, they would have simply added to the story. It would be a more interesting story if the explorers would have drawn some kind of event, and then some of them has to, I don't know, try to duck from a falling stone or whatever and avoid some damage that way. Stuff like that. I mean, like you have it in tons of other games. And I think it would be cool to have it here too. And that's maybe a missed opportunity. I heard the criticism that the game is basically only about fighting. And yeah, I gotta agree about that. I mean, that it's true. It is basically just about, I mean, maybe it's more about balancing how much resources you want to spend on fighting, defending these monsters, and how fast you want to progress in your quest. I think this is probably the main problem you are confronted with in this game. But sometimes it feels like you are a little bit overwhelmed, and it can feel like, okay, it would be cool to take some breath, to enjoy the story a little more, instead of just getting more and more monsters thrown at you. So yeah, but it also depends, you know, if it depends a lot on the way you roll here. And there is another option. You can play it a little easier. So you could, I mean, there's a rule that you, instead of rolling if you roll a 0, it actually means 0 and not 10. And in this way you have better odds and you won't get that many monsters. And if you have a feeling that you're overwhelmed, hey, I mean, you can simply increase the starting number here by 1, for example. It's very easy to adjust the difficulty, I think, in this game. And then you won't see that many monsters and you might be able to enjoy the story more. So, and by the way, one more thing, you got a ton of stuff here. I mean, really, look at this. These are just the weapons. And there are still expansions out there. It's crazy. You know, you got so many cards here. And there are still weapons out here, by the way. So there is really, look at this pile of event cards. I mean, it's insane. And also a lot of monsters, and they are really different. That's another cool thing. They don't all behave in the same way. They are pretty different, and yeah, it's just tons of stuff. You got about, I think you got 10 of these tiles, and they all are double-sided. And then you got these 3 additional tiles for the game ends, which was a little bit disappointing, to be honest. But okay, still, you got a lot of stuff in this game, and it's not super expensive. And then you can still get the expansions. So yeah, what can I say? I think this is a great dungeon crawler. It really is a very, very good game. You have to accept that the rules are terrible, so either you watch a video or you try to do it with this thing alone, and it worked very well for me. And apart from that, there is not a lot of criticism. You know, it is what it is. It is not the perfect game. I don't know, man. It's what it is. You've seen the playthrough, and if you like that, what you've seen, I can totally recommend it. It's, I think I will get this on the table pretty often. So yeah, thanks for watching and hope to see you on the next video. Bye.